The invitation is always to this story of a greater expression of life, not just an eternal story that we push everything to, not the I'll fly away, but it's the here and the now, the kingdom that is to define us, that we get to experience and even more so share. I pray that this would be a season, though, for all of us. We're in a world full of ruts that are easy to get sucked into. Crazy political sides on things. Pursuit of money and fame. And absolutely those very easy temptations of religion. Unhealthy religion that actually can lead us away from Jesus. I pray that this will be a season where we truly live out the story of revival. Knowing that you have everything you need today. And access to heaven through the power of the Spirit. May the Spirit dwelling in us awaken us, rock us out of our ruts of apathy and mindless pursuits of selfish ambition, and away from the empty, destructive religion that can so easily trap us. May we be willing to let go and allow the Spirit to transform and rewrite our hearts, rewriting the center story that now defines us and pulls us forward, but also connects us to those around us in ways that actually brings life not just to us, but in greater ways to the community as we begin to share the resources that God has placed within us. May we choose to unite in prayer. Our hearts and voices as one crying out. Not with all the purpose of plans and Jesus, you need to show up like this, but saying simply, Lord, may you bring your kingdom and may it come through us here in the midst, here in your church in the city, through our individual families. May there be a revival that awakens the dead spaces all around us. May we truly live in this story of hope and justice and love. In a moment, I'm going to close with a little time of prayer. We're going to do some praying, but I got one little thing that I'm going to throw in at the end here. And I'd asked for permission, and Daniel and Pastor Joel also said it was okay for me to do it. But my wife and I are foster parents. We've been in the foster system for 15 years here. It's been a beautiful journey for us, one that we never thought we'd get into. We didn't think we could foster. We thought we actually wanted to adopt. Foster would be way too hard, and obviously it is hard at times. But for us, it's been a gift. And the thing for us, I guess, is I truly would say that fostering is not for everybody. And even it's beautiful. If you read through George Mueller's journal, towards the end of his life, he kept saying over and over, please, please, please. Living out the kingdom does not mean every one of you are supposed to start orphanages. It does not mean that every one of you are supposed to bring kingdom of heaven to earth like this. And I'd say the same is true in this context of fostering, that not everyone this is your story. But in my journey, and I do work very closely with social services here. I've served as the president of the Foster Parents Association down here for a while. And a few months ago, they reached out to me asking if there's any chance that I'd be willing to take moments where possible to connect with people in the church community, the faith community, and throw out invitations to help meet an incredible crisis in our city. COVID is an interesting time. It affected a lot of things. So during COVID, we saw certainly rises in numerous things that we'd already seen rising, like addictions and stuff, and certainly that is now impacting more than you can imagine. Again, thinking of many of those people and tied to families, and so the number of kids coming into care is at some of the highest that they've ever been in our region. There's lots of complex stories around that, but the need is incredibly high. I think last week there was a single day where we had 10 kids that had to be apprehended out of unsafe situations. And the problem right now in our area, in Lethbridge, the other downside of COVID, how many parents enjoyed having your kids home all the time during COVID? Woo-hoo, I don't know, it was challenging. fostering is a little even more challenging, and so we unfortunately had a lot of foster parents, quite a few, that actually decided it was time to retire or step away, and so we had a lot that left. So at a time where we have more kids coming in than ever, we lost a lot, and unfortunately since then we haven't really replaced almost any of those that we've lost. The good news is that crises also can bring about incredible change. And so when we got into fostering, and even up to about 3 or 4 years ago, the process from the time you dropped off your application to the time you got a placement, they would say is anywhere between 2 and 3 years, just because of the way the system was, for getting home studies and courses that you had to do. Because of the crisis, they've revamped the entire system and transformed that now down to where they say between 5 and 6 months you can go from dropping off an application to having a placement. Now, I share that only as an invitation for those who are interested in taking some information and maybe taking some time to pray about it. I've got some stuff in the back, and I'll be back there afterwards if anyone would have questions about fostering. Again, I cannot stress this enough. It is not for everyone, but it could be for some. And it is an incredible need in our community right now. The majority of kids that are coming into care in our area, again, some of those are short-term apprehensions that they're trying to work with the family to get them placed back in. The problem is we don't even have homes here, so many of them are being shipped to Medicine Hat and other spaces, as far as in Calgary, because we just don't have homes here. And so I throw this out as just if God puts it on your heart. If you need to take some time to pray about it, please do. If you have questions, I'll meet you in the back afterwards. All right? That's enough of that for now. Would you stand with us in closing?